How's it going, film and TV fans? Welcome back to another review on the Off the Cuff Film Reviews YouTube channel and another installment in Friday the 13th review. Today we're looking at Friday the 13th Part 5, a new beginning, released in 1985, just 1 year after what was supposedly the final chapter, and continues to tell the story that was, I suppose, set up. Well, it wasn't set up, but because obviously Jason was supposedly killed off at the end of the final chapter, but the thing is, this is actually the best one, I think, so far, for me personally, because it actually takes the story over making money, for the most part. It's directed by Danny Steinman, so, you know, that's fun. Does a decent job, but I think the thing that I like the most about this movie is just the fact that it feels so much like people actually cared when making this one, because the story works, the characters work so well. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie ever made, but it's a hell of a step up above everything that's come before, bar maybe part 3, but not by much, I would say. And I think, yeah, this is my favourite one of the series so far, and I actually enjoyed watching this one, which makes me happy for the series going forward, because while there are the same stereotypical teens going to the woods to have sex deaths here, that only happens once in this movie. The other kills they're actually at like a mental health retreat place, which I think makes the story just feel so much better after having every single one previously involved teenagers going into the woods to have sex. Which is, again, I just like that they're moving away from the concept they've stuck on for the last 4 fucking films, which is nice to see they're finally moving on from it. And also the fact that it's kind of sort of in the air whether Jason is even real or not here. But apart from that interesting tidbit, Manfrini's score, decent, I suppose. The kills are actually quite good here. There's some really impressive kills, and the characters actually have like the first kill we see in the movie. It isn't Freddy. It isn't Jason who kills someone. It's actually one of the inhabitants at the mental health facility that killed another one of the inhabitants of the mental health facility by whacking him with an axe. So, you know, I like that. I think that's quite cool. I really rate that. But it's still not the greatest movie in this franchise, but it's definitely a step up from what was before, and I say this is the first one I actually enjoyed watching, I think. And it makes a really good story that is told quite well here, I think, and the direction is pretty cool. There's some nice shots as well here and there, and it actually works quite well for me, which is surprisingly considering how, you know, little I care about the other installments in this franchise, but it just works for me. I'm quite impressed to say that I actually really enjoyed this movie, and it does make me kind of excited for where the franchise goes from this point onward. To be honest with you. And even though obviously this was supposed to be the final chapter, I guess it not being that isn't the biggest deal in the world, I wouldn't say, but I would think that perhaps it would entail a little change from the creative team, but I wouldn't, again, give them too much credit in that regard. But like I said, I actually would recommend people go watch this one, because you don't need prior knowledge of the series other than maybe the last one before this one, but even then. yeah, it's a pretty fucking fun movie. Like, I say fun, but it's one that I actually enjoyed every kill coming up, and like the actual characters were set up to have like, I like the scene with the brothers. There's the two brothers. One of them, his grandfather works at the mental health institution, but he doesn't like live there or anything. And he goes to see his brother, and we get this nice scene where they actually set up their chemistry and actually like be brothers, and it's fun and it works. And then they kill them off. They don't just introduce the character and immediately game in them. They actually set these two characters up with emotional stakes between each other before then killing the brother off. That's something about that feels so much better designed than anything else this franchise has thrown at us thus far. And yeah, what can I say? I actually really enjoyed this movie. Yeah, it's quite nice to say that I enjoyed one of these movies, considering I really don't like most of these movies so far. But here gives me hope that maybe this franchise could be pretty good again. Pretty fucking good again. And I look forward to the next one, albeit you never know how it's going to go, to be quite frank with you. And that's the kind of thing that makes me think maybe things might be a bit different come the next one, considering that, again, this was, because it's not actually Jason Voorhees at the end of this movie, it's someone dressed up as Jason Voorhees, like, quite obviously, like, it would be that kind of thing, because they actually did kill him off in the last one properly, supposedly, but, yeah, it's one of the characters who actually, I will say this because it's like a fucking 40-year-old movie, so I'm pretty sure everyone has seen it, or who cares about it isn't watching this, but what is revealed at the end of the film is that the Jason we see in the film that kills people, that isn't the hallucination Jason that our main protagonist is seeing, the actual Jason that kills people, is at the beginning of the movie, these two paramedics come and take the child who was murdered at the mental health place, and they take him on a stretcher, and one of those paramedics was at the end of the movie revealed to be the father of said child, which is why at the beginning of the movie he has such a intriguing reaction when they lift the cloth up to see who is underneath it. And apparently the paramedic knew that he was the father of this child, but never told him. Anyway, it's revealed at the end of the film that he was the person in the Jason get-up in this movie, and came out of fucking nowhere, but it kind of worked because it had to have some kind of thing where it's not actually Jason, you know? Like, you see this here where he's getting up out of the grave, that's just this other guy, either that's a hallucination, or it's the other guy getting out of the grave. So yeah. It was a good movie, I enjoyed it, and, you know, thank you for watching my review of Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Up next is Friday Part 6, which is the last one until Friday the 13th, the remake one, to have any form of soundtrack available. So from after this one, it will be review themes for Part 7 and 8, as well as Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and Jason X. And then after that, I'll probably cover Freddy vs. Jason. But, again, I don't think I want to cover that one until I've seen both franchises. So I think, yeah, I will leave that one until after I've done Nightmare on Elm Street. So, yeah, thanks so much for watching this review of Friday the 13th Part 5 A New Beginning. Stay tuned for Friday 6 review. And bye-bye for now.